Consistency within a series is something every fan hopes an author can maintain. Even through the low moments, we dwell on the idea that the author will continue to use their narrative strengths as the plot drives forward. When it comes to My Hero Academia, this is something that for a long time was the case. MHA treats Hero Society itself as a character in a way that it affects everyone, both hero and villain, and has introduced a more compelling story rather than the classic good guy beats the bad guy. Regardless of how you may feel on an arc, each one has brought something great from it. Sports Festival introducing the Todoroki plotline with a variety of action and character introductions, Staying arc bringing Deku to learn full counseling and introducing the concept of the fake or false hero, Final Exams showing us flaws and the potential within our cast, Forest Camp introducing the League of Villains, Kamino giving us the edge of our seat clash of the top dogs, Hero License bringing us shoot style and a showdown that set the duo straight, Overhaul bringing us one of MHA's most tense arcs yet in a full-on effort to save one girl, the Cultural Festival introducing Gentle Criminal, who is arguably one of MHA's best villains, Pro Hero being Endeavor's starting line, Joint Training showing us not only what Class 1B is capable of, but also bringing Shinso back into the fray and giving Deku a newfound insight into One for All, Endeavor Agency bringing the family drama back on deck, and My Villain Academia showcasing why Shigaraki is the biggest victim of this flawed hero society. As much as I could have summed all of that up by saying Act 1 and Act 2 of the series, each arc had something worthwhile mentioning, and I think that brick by brick buildup is one of my favorite things about MHA. Horikoshi slowly but surely put the pieces on the board and built up to my favorite arc in the series, the Paranormal Liberation War. The result of PLW was Hero Society itself being flipped upside down, in which ultimately the heroes were defeated. There was loss, despair, and most of all, pure chaos in Japanese Hero Society. Looking past this arc, everyone was eager to know what would be the direction of the series next. Theories were being brewed and speculations were rampant, but nothing could have surprised people more than what came. On March 21st, 2021, it was revealed that Deku left UA. Deku's solo arc would commence as things began to change, yet on this same day, this is when the momentum of the story began to change in a way that nobody realized till we did. Villain Hunt, which is the fandom's title for it, is the arc that is definitely the most mixed reception arc I have ever seen in MHA. For a lot of people, they enjoyed it, seeing Deku on his own spiraling into his worst tendencies, also giving us one of his most monstrous looking designs yet. While on the other hand, there was a large majority that were gradually falling out of love with this series. One term that I can use to describe what caused this is Deku POV, or point of view. Now don't get me wrong, there were some good moments in Deku's mind within this arc, looking at his views being tested by Nagant, or even just some of his own constant needs to keep moving forward to protect his loved ones. However, what was provided was not enough. Folks wanted more reflection on the post-PLW society and for Villain Hunt to overall just be longer so Deku could face more obstacles with his views. However, upon Class 1A intervening on his path, this pretty much was the signal that his solo crusade had come to an end. This is what I mean when I say that things began to change. Villain Hunt without a doubt felt faster in terms of what we are used to. It's not like I was entirely against the pace of change either. Change can be good if the execution can help back it up, but a lot of people felt it fell flat. Post Villain Hunt, we had some good chapters, specifically with showing us the reception towards Deku coming back with the citizens, having even the guy from episode 1 make a return, and even Ochiko getting a huge moment for herself when it comes to her idea of who saves the heroes. Then right after, we go into Stars and Stripes, and at this point, this is when the fluctuation really becomes noticeable. Some decent chapters, some not so great, and it's constantly going back and forth in terms of their reception. I know we are in the final act and getting all the plot points in are important, but things have without a doubt just been a bit faster. I think the issue really lies in Villain Hunt just needing to be longer. I wish we had more vestige conversations hearing about their time in Hero Society compared to now, and Deku encountering another one of Awful One's assassins that would have felt more meaningful in some way. A lot of cool ideas in Villain Hunt, but just needed some more time and substance to really help back them up. Stars and Stripes herself was an action-packed showdown against Shigaraki, and for those who have been looking for that high impact action, they very much got it. However, I do have to say, for somebody who was saved during movie 1 to come and go like she did, it definitely felt a bit disappointing. I would have loved to see her meet Deku or even speak to All Might one more time before she passed away, but unfortunately her legacy is a plot device that nerfs Shigaraki. It's almost like you have to ask if Shigaraki was written too strong for his own good at that point. Even Shigaraki himself and his identity crisis has come into question because that one factor prevented Stars and stripes from getting a handle on the situation. All for One has really been making his presence known, and it's gotten to the point that the question can be asked, has he overstayed, or perhaps his grand exit execution by Shigaraki has just yet to come. Honestly, I could go on and on and on about all the different complaints, wants, and disappointments people have with MHA right now, but that's not the point of this video. MHA's consistency is constantly fluctuating. I feel like come this weekend with the upcoming chapters, things will start to really feel solid again on a weekly basis because of what's been strategically set up for years now, but Act 3 as a whole could have benefited greatly by just more time. Time itself is something MHA doesn't even have. According to Horikoshi, if everything stays on schedule, MHA will end within a year or at the very most winter 2023. I knew we were heading to the conclusion, but to actually hear it from the Jump Festa stage honestly made my heart drop. There's a lot of assumptions and possibilities as to why Hori is wrapping things up so quickly, but honestly, as I'm not in the room with him and his editors, I'd rather wait for something more concrete to be reported. However, I do still feel confident enough to say that Horikoshi can very much stick the landing. When it comes to setup, Hori is great at it, and these final encounters have been set up for years now. Toga versus Ochiko and Froppy, the Todoroki brothers, Agni Kai Showdown, and Deku versus Shigaraki are the three cornerstones that must hit their mark. It's practically make or break. However, if things go the way I think they'll go, then I think we'll be happy in the end. I think Toga should be stopped, but Dabi will end up dying, and what may come of Deku can be a mix of both save Tenko and kill Shigaraki. I compared it to Men of Steel one time, but Deku having to kill Shigaraki even after his best efforts to stop him might just be the only way, as Gran Torino mentioned. I feel like Horikoshi really put Deku in a safe spot for his conclusion because there's a split between Tenko and Shigaraki, but then again, only time will tell. Their verbal exchange upon meeting again is definitely one of the most crucial parts of this arc, and I can only hope that the gray area of Hero Society is talked about before the exchange blows for the final time. I do want to cut Hori some slack though, only because I feel like MHA is his biggest learning experience yet. He's experimented and took risks with things like MVA, and that's always going to be something noteworthy during his time with this series. I think after MHA concludes, he will have an idea of how he may want to go about future series, and things might be more consistent from beginning to end there. I just think that people saying he fell off is just plain wrong. Lost momentum and steam, sure, but with the structure of the current conflict of the final act, it feels like a solid PLW structure, and that's something I can get behind, at least for now. Lastly, I just want to say how I truly feel about this series, because this video has pretty much been putting the community's reaction into perspective and not necessarily my own. To this day, I still enjoy MHA as much as the first day I watched it. I think the main difference with me and other people who still enjoy it just as much is that I'm willing to sit down and try to understand why people are frustrated. Looking at others' perspectives and through different lenses is important for constructive criticism and has certainly provided a lot of insight into how people have been feeling about Act 3. I think if Villain Hunt was overall longer and gave Deku more of that solo time, allowing us to see more into his head and even showing him in a confused state, a lot of issues could have been avoided. Additionally, if that reflection could have been applied to the Ayama Trader plot, then that might have been received better as well. However, I just love MHA. I love the series, the content, and regardless of its shortcomings, it'll probably stay right next to World Trigger as one of my favorite shonen series of all time. So if you are feeling let down, disappointed, frustrated, just know I do understand and hear where you guys are coming from. I'm not gonna ignore the overall criticism towards the final act, but I also won't let that criticism sway me to tear it away as one of my favorite series. Within the last year or so of MHA, I hope that Hori can do his best to end the series the way he sees fit, and hopefully it's a conclusion that everyone can be satisfied with. With that, it's gonna bring me to the end of this video. As always, thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments section down below what your current thoughts and feelings are about the state of My Hero Academia as we are in the climax. As always, stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.